The next Digimon story looks and sounds amazing. Like many of you, I have been watching, reading, listening to all of the Time Stranger coverage that dropped this month. We really did go from knowing almost nothing about Time Stranger just a few months ago to being bombarded with news in June. It's almost hard to keep up with all the updates the Time Stranger team wants to share with us. I enjoyed a ton of Time Stranger coverage, from interviews with GameSpot and GameSpark to impressions videos from folks like Carney X, and while this video is by no means a complete list of everything we know, I want to share 10 highlights, 10 big wins I picked up on from this summer info dump. I genuinely think Time Stranger is about to be something special, and it's because of these 10 things. If it's your first time on the channel, welcome. Consider subscribing for reviews of nostalgic anime like Digimon, Beyblade, Mega Man, NT Warrior, or maybe you've seen my stuff before but you don't really subscribe, you just trust your homepage. If you like the videos and you could do me the tiny favor of subscribing, that would get us closer to 100,000, a little dream of mine. So without further ado, let's talk Time Stranger's 10 big wins. 1. A Digimon story for adults. In an interview with GameSpark, the game's producer discussed the target demographic and how, quote, "We are no longer in an era where you can simply make something for children." He also notes that kids have a tendency to be interested in material that is maybe not aimed for them and is aimed at older teens and adults. He frames this as a new concept, but I actually don't think it is. When I was a kid, there was nothing cooler than Inuyasha and Gundam, shows that aired late at night and clearly weren't for little kids. I think he's made a great point here that you can create something for a mature audience and respect that a potential child audience could enjoy it without needing to talk down to them. 2. A Digimon story for non-Digimon fans. In that same interview with GameSpark, Hara also states that they are making Time Stranger for everyone, not just Digimon fans. The producer hopes that the traditional RPG mechanics will be more accessible than the monster raising of World or the visual novel meets tactical gameplay of Survive, but he also thinks the story is one that can connect with people who weren't already Digimon fans. He mentions how the protagonist of Time Stranger is someone who has no prior knowledge of Digimon. Quote, "We've made it so that players who don't know Digimon can start the game from the same perspective." 3. More fantasy than sci-fi. Here's a funny one. Returning to GameSpark, the interview asks if the work has a fundamentally strong fantasy feel to it. Hara says that it does, that the digital world Iliad has a stronger element of fantasy than sci-fi. This is clear as day if you compare this central town from Time Stranger to the internet world of Cyber Sleuth and Hacker's Memory. Now, this is an interesting one for me. Fans of my channel will know I personally prefer Digimon stories that do grapple with technology and our relation to it, but Digimon Adventure was primarily a fantasy isekai with light digital ideas, and there's no denying that was the biggest Digimon season. In other words, while the sickos like me want commentary on our digital dependence, a fantasy isekai may be more enticing to a wider net of potential fans. 4. Anime Easter eggs. Both in Carney X's fantastic breakdown and in GameSpot's impression article, we get a look at all the winks and nods to past Digimon seasons that exist in this game. We see a group of the 02 partner Digimon hanging out. In the Warrior's watering hole, we see anime legends like Agunimon, Lobomon, Lilymon, Gatomon, and more. While they are not playing a major role in the story as far as we know, you don't just drop these Digimon into town without knowing what they mean to fans. The choice of Digimon feels deliberate and personal, and while a more cynical take could be that this is pure nostalgia bait, developers who didn't love the franchise would not have thought to include these cameos. Number 5. Taking their time. Push Square and Game.Watch talk about the length of the game's development. Hara explains that they wanted to release it sooner, quote, "But what took the most time was fleshing out the game's setting in order to really highlight the game's central theme, as well as building a story and world. So while the wait was tough and the silence was brutal, I'm glad to hear that early world building and writing the story were a large part of what made the wait so long. I'd rather a game that took its time than one that was rushed out the door, with a story that only made it through 1 or 2 drafts before being deemed good enough." Here at the halfway point, let me pause to tell you about the sponsor of today's video, Zenin TCG. They are an online merch shop for Digimon, Pokemon, and other popular anime collectibles. When I shop for the new Digivices that aren't available in my country, Zenin TCG is where I go to get the goods. To celebrate the 28th anniversary of Digimon, they'll have over 100 new licensed Digimon products that are otherwise exclusive to Digimon pop-up shops in Asia. This is stuff you will not see, not even Premium Bandai if you're an a country that P. Bandai services. Keychains based on the Piedmon encounter in Act 3 of Adventure 1999, acrylic stands for Tamers and Adventure, badges, magnets, even long sleeve shirts with a vintage 90s look to them. They've also opened up pre-orders for the new Digimon Pendulum Color and the Digimon Case Iremon Pendulum Color in metallic blue and metallic gray, and they're running a Time Stranger giveaway, so anyone who spends more than 50 USD on an order will be entered to win one of 8 copies of Digimon Story Time Stranger when it releases. These guys are the real deal. I personally bought my Vital Bracelet gear and my Digivice collectibles from them, so visit them with the links in my description. No promo code here, just head on over and see if any of the 100 plus new items interest you. Thanks Zen and TCG, now back to the list. 6. Digital World Culture. GameSpot writes, quote, "I loved exploring the hub area in the early part of the demo and seeing Digimon use their traditionally violent powers for everyday tasks. PC Gamer echoed this, saying, quote, "All around us, Digimon went about their day just doing Digi stuff. The digital world felt alive in Digimon Story Time Stranger." Not since Frontier have we seen Digimon behaving like a community, at least not on this scale. Yes, we've seen villages in Adventure 2020 and small groups in Ghost Game, but not these bustling, diverse towns that feel like they've existed long before we ever showed up and will be here long after our journey ends. 7. Rideable Digimon for the vibes. This one's short and sweet, but I couldn't leave it out. A few trailers back, we saw our protagonist characters riding select Digimon, and many wondered if it would be a Legends Arceus situation where the few Digimon you can ride have specific gameplay functions. Hara, the game's producer, clarified that actually, the rideable Digimon are just here to make fans happy. While you could prefer that they have specific functions, the fact they don't, but still got left in, it's a great indication that the team working on this game know what Digimon fans want. It's the can you pet the dog of Digimon. Can you ride on Beelzemon's bike? Yes, you can. 8. Overseas accessibility. This point is far more technical, but it's just an objective win. This will be the first Digimon Story title to launch with Japanese and English voice acting. In addition to that, the game supports a record-breaking 11 languages. It's a huge gesture for the fans of Digimon outside of Japan, and a clear confirmation that people like you were in consideration during Time Stranger's production. 9. Made by fans. One of my favorite facts to come out of the Summer Game Fest Playdays preview is the story of Hara's past. Data Ravel notes that Hara was a child when Digimon Adventure was first airing all the way back in 1999, that he was around Mimi and Izzy's age specifically. He stated how he wanted to be one of the chosen children and how he wanted to believe Digimon were real. When franchises get old enough, there is often this wonderful baton pass where the kids who grew up on the stories become the ones creating new entries in their favorite media. The crew working on the new versions of TMNT, or Filoni working on Star Wars Rebels and The Mandalorian. Digimon is now at the point where the people stepping into leadership roles aren't just Toei or Bandai staff assigned this weird franchise. They are the kids who grew up with Agumon, with Vmon, and Guilmon. I think that's awesome, and we can trust that these people understand and care about Digimon. Number 10. A story of bonds. Another thing Data Ravel points out that was all over these June interviews was the emphasis that the bond between humans and Digimon is the heart of the story. Quote, "The main core of this story is Inori and her partner Digimon, Aegiomon, who will portray how deep and powerful the bond between a human and a Digimon can be, so strong that it transcends time and space. The time travel component of this Digimon story is not a gameplay gimmick or mechanic, but actually a story function. The writers use time travel to explore the strength of a single bond. In my opinion, one thing Digimon games struggle to nail is the feeling of a human and Digimon partnership. Survive is a bit of an exception. I think they did it pretty well there, but in many Digimon games, the majority of your Digimon don't have speaking roles. You may raise them like a pet, but not like a friend. It's already clear we'll be collecting hundreds of Digimon who aren't going to have speaking roles or key moments in the game cinematics, but the inclusion of Aegiomon throughout Time Stranger seems to be an attempt to simulate the types of bonds we see in the anime, the type of storytelling that made so many of us fall in love with Digimon. I think the franchise ultimately is a story of bonds, and to see the game focus on this just feels right. So there you go, those are 10 reasons I'm confident that Time Stranger is going to seriously impress when it releases this fall. A Digimon story for adults, for every kind of fan, made by people who grew up on Digimon, a game that took its sweet time defining its story, creating a fictional culture for its digital world, being a story of connection, of bonds. That's all from me, but I want to know, did you have a favorite bit of info that came out of the June coverage of Time Stranger? Was it one of the things I mentioned here, or was your favorite something else you read or saw that I didn't touch on? Comment below to let me know. I'll have links to every article and interview I referenced in the description, so be sure to check out the full stories. Once again, if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing for reviews of nostalgic anime like Digimon and Beyblade. I even wrote an adventure novel called Dot Monster Revolution, inspired by 2000s anime, that you can check out. I'll have links below where you can check out the free preview, and you can buy it if you're interested. Everyone have a great week, and I will see you in the next video.